Hi, David Wallimann here. In this video, I have an idea that maybe, hopefully, will develop into a different side of this channel and of my business and all that. And I think it's going to be very helpful for you guys. I've got some ideas. I'm not going to go too much into it, but we're just going to try this. I'm about to play over a backing track from guitarplayback.com, which you can get, I'll tell you at the end, for free. And this is not prepared. I'm just going to go through it, improvise, and then I'm going to comment over it. I'm going to talk to myself as if I was not myself. I'm just going to analyze what I played. Let's just do it. So not playing at the beginning is a good thing. It allows you to listen to what you're going to play over. Okay, so I feel that you're you started to play too fast, too quickly, because that didn't give you enough time to think about what you were going to play. And here, I can tell that you are fishing around for the notes. You're just kind of exploring what notes work, trying to make it sound melodic. It kind of does, but not really. So you're getting in the zone, listening, and then listen to the searching phase here. Searching for notes there. You can tell it's a little bit too mechanical. It sounds a little bit too much like you're exploring the zone of the fretboard that you are going to use to make your improv, instead of actually getting into the improv right away. And what I would have done here is maybe not play right away. There was too little time before you started to play. There were only like maybe 1 bar, 2 bars, 2 bars. I would have given it at least 4 bars, and it's okay not to play right away. If you need to fish around and spend time doing that, do it with less notes, because it's sounding too much like you're not sure what you're going to do. Or to start with a theme. See, if you had a theme from the beginning, you could repeat that theme and develop there. But here it's too licky. Sounds too much like... Come on, really? That's too predictable. It's too mechanical. That is too. Plus, rhythmically, it's not great. You're playing more melodic here when the chord changed. Okay, back to the mechanical thing, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So the backing track has 2 distinct sections. There's a section that we started with, which is kind of driving through. It's not extremely interesting. There's not much going on in terms of changing chords. There's not much going on in terms of harmonic placement and movement. It's basically driving through. You can hear it here at the beginning. Right? Not much. Gives you a lot of room to do things. And you didn't use it. On that section where there's a lot of room, there's actually a lot of room for you to do something a little different. But what he did here is use that lots of room to play something a little static, a little predictable, just searching around for the notes, instead of taking that backing track, which is, we'll call it a little boring, but not in a bad way, just nothing much happening. Use that to create something melodic, something that is going to stand out of the boring, driving, predictable type of thing. But instead, you kind of matched what is going on in the backing track, driving, boring, just a couple chords, not much going on, and you did the same with your instrument. And you could tell, because one thing that is boring plus another thing boring creates a big thing boring. Whereas one thing a little boring, something harmonically interesting, creates not something boring, but something really great. A plus and a minus equals a plus. A plus and a plus equals a plus. A minus and a minus equals a minus. That's what's happening here. Whereas in the second section, when the chord progression moves from being driving, predictable to something more interesting, you could afford to play something a little more static, a little boring, a little more predictable, because a plus in the backing track and a minus is a plus. Make sense? So you can hear it here. And you kind of went with a melodic way when we changed chords, which is good, because a plus and a plus equals a plus. Yet every once in a while you added some automatic playing. See if we can find that. That's still the minus part of the backing track, kind of driving through, a little boring. Not in the bad way again. And then we're getting into the plus section, more interesting. And you played a little more interesting on it, which is okay. But sometimes you use some automatic playing, which is okay too, but the rhythm placement is not great. There's a few hesitations in there. See, it's not super tight, and if it's not tight, that brings the plus and the plus, or the plus and the minus, to an even lesser section. It doesn't work there. You should have kept a little more melodic, even if it means that you're not gonna do anything interesting guitaristically, like those scales. It's still gonna be more appealing because if your scales are not super tight rhythmically, don't play them. Yeah, see, it's very uncertain. Work on your rhythm. Okay, now you could bet a little more into the interesting part over the driving part. So that's a plus and a minus. That works. Yeah, see, anytime you play those automatic type of a little faster, it's not super tight rhythmically. So you really need to work on your rhythm placement. With a metronome, record yourself so that you can exteriorize yourself from what you're playing, because when you're actually playing, it might sound better than it really is, and that's the case right there. It's not super tight. So work on your rhythm and record yourself doing it so you can go back and fix the problems. It was a little better rhythmically. There really is a lack of theme, because you could have gotten back to that theme there. If you had a theme from the opening, you could go back to that right now. It would sound much better. Then you're going back in I'm fishing around, I'm in automatic mode. You're not really blending in with the track. And it's really interesting because anytime the backing track goes into the more interesting rhythm section with a change of chords, more melodic, you follow that. Try to play something that is different. So if the chord progression goes into more melodic, you can take a break from the focused melodic playing and do those automatic runs. That's going to work. When the track is really driving through, kind of boring, that's where you rise above and create something a little more melodic and focused. Just use your ear to sing over it to find your theme. All that is boring. It's very predictable. Your playing is very predictable. So I think I would work on that. Practice what you preach, David. But now I'm listening to this, I'm like, okay, let's get to the end of the track. This is something else. That's interesting. You did that. That's good. That's cool. That's good. I bet you didn't know what you're doing, right? You didn't. Overall, it's not bad, but it could be a lot more focused. And what I would do is work on your rhythm placement for those automatic playing things with a metronome, no backing track, and record yourself and listen to it. And then work on contrast. When the backing track is doing something boring, that's where you rise above, do something more interesting. When the backing track is doing something more interesting, that's where you can rely on those automatic playing, not because you need to, but because when you play on automatic playing, the scale runs and licks, you don't have to think about it. That gives your mental a chance to recharge for when the backing track is doing something boring, a little more boring, so that you can actually sing the notes inside, and that's more demanding mentally than just playing those runs. That's what I would work on. But overall, you've got a good heart, and keep working on it. Okay, so what you just saw is something that is very important when learning how to play, when trying to grow, having feedback from yourself, listening back to it, and from someone else. And if you want to have that, I'm happy to do that for some of you. Now, please don't take this as I am the authority in guitar playing. I know everything there is, and I'm way better than you are, and I'm going to comment on your playing, and I'm going to judge you. No, not at all. My comments will have to be taken with a grain of salt. This is just my opinion, and it might be someone else's opinion. Maybe not, but that's just how I feel. And you've got to take it with a grain of salt because music is something personal, and if you absolutely are attached to some of the ideas that you play, great, that's fine. But we're talking really specifically on an improvisation context. For some reason, I've got problems with that word. And if you want to have one perspective, then you can do that. I will pick a few and feature them in a future episode. You need to be okay with me featuring you on that and be critiqued on this channel. So your video will be seen by anyone who watches this video, if you decide to do that, and I will comment on it. I'll be as honest as I can. I'm never going to be mean, but I'm just going to give you my opinion so that you can take that and try to improve. And remember, take it with a grain of salt. Okay, how do you do that? Well, first of all, you can get this backing track, which is part of a pack that was created for guitar playback by my good friend Javier Loaiza, who's a guitar playback employee. It's a great track, and you can get that full pack if you want to purchase that. But you can get this particular one for free just by entering your email below. Once you did that, well, you do whatever you want with the track. I mean, you improvise, you play with it, you expand on your musicality. And if you want to be featured in a future episode, do that work. Just film yourself improvising over the track. You can prepare a little bit if you want, but purely improvised might be better for this exercise. And then send me the link to your YouTube video. You can put that video as unlisted if you don't want people to see it, or as listed. Just send me the link so I can download it. But if you do that, know that you might be featured in a future episode. So you just need to be aware of that. And there's some idiots sometimes who watch this channel and just comment like stupid stuff. I've gotten a lot of those. Ignore that. But if you're willing, this is going to be a great exercise. I think it'll be beneficial for you guys. Anyways, you can give the track below. I hope you like this video. Let me know what you think of this idea. Maybe it'll develop into something else. I'll tell you more about it later. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you want to help me produce even better content, you can do that by simply signing up to a free 30-day trial to Amazon Prime. The link is below. You will get unlimited access to all their movies, their TV shows. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me produce better content. The link is below. Thank you.